As we see that Mary Wollstonecraft is saying that education is integral to the development of individual identity, so that this dependence of the mind on associations and impressions needs the rigorous discipline of education if it is to be anything other than slavish. This need for education is even more compelling in the case of women than it is for men, as she believes women do not have the subsequent access to a career or to business that men have, and are therefore more bound in an irrational way to first impressions. Women's minds are often untutored. They exist in a state of ignorance and slavish dependence on external circumstances and associations. So, from seeing the world in the clear light of reason, women are condemned to the enfeebling darkness of bondage to external reality. When women are young and ought to be rationally educated, they are taught only superficial graces to please their future husbands. Conversely, when they are adults and mature, they are again sort of fed with useless trivia and encouraged to be mature of understanding. As she quotes, females who are made women of when they are mere children and brought back to childhood when they ought to have the go-kart forever, have not sufficient strength to efface the superinductions of art that have smothered nature, unquote. So obviously the strength of character, dignity is not there. And thus we see that obviously Mary Wollstonecraft is relying heavily on the primacy of reason, and she really gives this the most important place. And the cultural stereotypes generated by literature, of course, are shown up in their impoverishment. And as we see, during these times, sometimes the way women were portrayed in the novels of those times, in the 18th century novel, for example, the stereotype of the rake, for example, Samuel Richardson's Clarissa, 1747 to 48, which is portraying the endurance of its virtuous heroine through a series of operations, and which climaxes in her self-sacrificial death. So Clarissa's father is tyrannical, and her society and suitor alike are hypocritical. So when Lovelace the rake appears, he seems to both Clarissa and the reader to offer a welcome escape. So though he appears to be a good character, of course he is exploitative and contributes to the confusion and the destruction of the heroine. So Wollstonecraft quotes Lovelace as an instance of the destructive potential within the figure of the rake. So according to Mary Wollstonecraft, the contemporary literature that was there during her time, it had a bad influence to the furthering of the cause of women. So, of course, she reflects on how easily men and women form incorrect ideas of each other and of their roles in life. So, as she is saying in this kind of an extract that I am quoting, quote, "Men look for beauty and the simper of good-humoured docility. Women are captivated by easy manners A gentleman-like man seldom fails to please them, and their thirsty ears eagerly drink the insinuating nothings of politeness, whilst they turn from the unintelligible sounds of the charmer reason, charm he never so wisely. Unquote. So obviously this points to the fact that women are impressed by easy manners. They do not look beyond the superficial level, and that is the problem that that occurs